Bubba. You cat.
Yeah, good morning. Welcome to episode 54 of the Blindsided podcast. We are streaming right now live on LinkedIn, Facebook, couple of YouTube channels, about 6 or 7 different platforms. So wherever you're coming in from, welcome. I'm Charlie Collins, co-host here of the Blindsided podcast, and I do a few other things.
Hi, Charlie. Good morning. My name is Brenda Hayden. I am founder of Time for 10. We're an emotional awareness coaching service, emotional intelligence too. We help people identify the root cause of their disturbances, and they clear out their 0 to 7 programming, and they start to see the world in a brand new way. And most of the time, they're not bothered half as much after doing that kind of work. They can flow with the universe and let things pass by. It's all about clearing out the old patterns of behavior and conditioned thinking. We love doing what we do. So I'm glad to be here, and I'm co-host of the Blindsided podcast.
Thank you. And I just wanted to mention here that, you see, those are, I think that side, yeah, my initials. And this shirt I'm wearing today in honor of my mother-in-law, who would be 89 today. And she always bought me shirts with my monogram on them. So if I ever found somebody wearing them, I could say, hey, that's my shirt. And I think it's cool. And love is number 17 on my strength, so I'm trying to get it up a little.
I want to say good morning to Carrie and Molly. They're early birds here. Good to see you guys. Sorry, Charlie, go ahead.
No, that's it's all good. All right, let's push this down a little.
What are we talking about today?
My strengths. Oh, I see. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about something that was not in my wheelhouse, not in my consciousness, not in my teachings, I guess, through my schooling and all. It's strengths, and strengths are basically, and I put on the thumbnail, like, lifting weights and all that strength. But I mean, these are like, how come it seems it's easy, not easy, but it just flows when I do certain things. Certain things work well. Certain things I struggle at. Maybe that could be a strength and a weakness area. But I found, Brenda, through school, from when I was little all the way through, it seemed like every time I handed in a quiz or a test or a project or anything, it had red marks on like X's. That's wrong. And then they circled at the top my score or my worth. and it always, it never complimented the things I did right. It never like said, let's work with this. These are some areas you show some strengths in. It always seemed to focus on what I wasn't good enough at, or where I had my weaknesses, and they wanted to, let's get you better at your weaknesses. And I don't want to get better at my weaknesses, but I didn't know different back then. So, and it lowered my self-esteem. It didn't. My thinking about my value, my smarts lowered my self-esteem. And, and I got less and less connected to school, and I didn't like it. And the older I got, the more I did not like it.
Yeah. So let's call a spade, right? When we were going to school, those red marks on the paper defined your worth. If you weren't, we were taught the whole pedagogy that we were raised in was be the best. It doesn't matter if it's like natural to you to understand something, math, science, whatever it was, literature. You had to be the best. You had to get really good grades, and it was tied to your worth. And there was this sense of competition that was built into everybody in our pedagogy. So, and they did not take into consideration ever what you were good at. They didn't even inventory what you're good at. There was a pedagogy assigned, and every student was to adhere to that pedagogy, and the goal was to be really good at it, to have command over it, to have agency over that. And then you're going to be able to go into the matrix and participate in the consume and produce matrix that we're in, right? You can take your role in making money so that you can spend it. That's it, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole gig. And that's how we were raised, right?
Yeah.
And so, we are spirit, mind, and body, right? All three. And the only thing that was addressed in school was being able to perform at a certain level so that you could achieve a certain amount of economic status so that you can, flow with the status quo, which is not really, it's really counterintuitive if you think about it. If you tell somebody long enough that they're bad at something, they believe they're bad at it. You get a big red X on something, it's like, oh my God, I suck. So now you're building into that person's awareness that they suck. And that's not the truth. It means you need more learning, or you need to focus on a strength to bring that weakness up. So let's talk about that for a little bit.
Certainly. So, Brenda, one day I received an email out of the blue from this dude, Jack Canfield. I don't know who he is. And then I find out, oh, he's one of the co-authors of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. Well, what's that? I never read one of those. But I looked into it. I went, oh, that's a massive line of books that is helping people inspire them, and it's stories of struggle. And I'm on my own island thinking my problems are I'm the only one with legal blindness, struggled in school. I'm on my own island. And then I'm later on in life learning that there's this guy that has this company called self-esteem seminars. I'm like, what is self-esteem? And I mean, let's just say I shut off the learning modules and I just kind of went with life. And and then I learned, and I got an email that said, hey, do you want to learn how to raise your self-esteem? And I don't know, I read it and I thought, that's interesting. And, I drank the Kool-Aid. I started reading and writing and looking inside, and I started going to different conferences and trainings, and Brenda, and I'll never forget when he had us sitting in a conference like day 2. And it was, we want you to list on what, on your paper, what you're good at. And I'm like, I'm watching the 2 people on each side of me. They're writing things down. I'm going, huh. I don't know what they're writing because I can't see that, but I know their hands moving. So I'm like, oh, I got to pretend. I don't know. What am I good at? What am I good at? Oh my gosh. And I was so freaked out in that moment because, of course, I learned by the end of that, there's assessments, there's techniques, tools, surveys, things that can help you start to understand where you thrive and what you're good at or what your strengths are. And but that was a very pivotal moment in my life.
So I want to ask you a question, Charlie. Why couldn't you think of anything that you were good at?
Because I spent my up until that point really negative self-talk. That ants were always around me, as in automatic negative thoughts. I oh, you can't do that. You're not good enough. You don't have a college degree. Everybody's smarter than I had that language. So if he said, let's take out a sheet of paper and list all the things you're not good at, oh man, I could have wrote all day.
Yeah. People focus on what you're not good at more than what you are good at. And the fact that you didn't, and how old were you at that point? Just admit, 40s. Okay. Yeah. Well, listen, I didn't start awakening till well into my 40s myself. But the point is that at that age, you didn't know what you were good at. Right. And that is the conditioning of the pedagogy and the systems that we live in, the societal norms, as you call them, that we're fed and taught. It's learned behavior to judge yourself by what you're not good at instead of judging yourself by what you are. So I want to take a minute to tell a quick story about Finland, which was voted once again the happiest country in the world. That just came out recently. Finland has been voted the happiest country in the world for a number of years. I was going to talk about this last week and I stopped myself. So we talk about 0 to 7 programming on the brain. The brain is in a theta wave until you're about 7 years old. A theta wave is like a twilight sleep, very impressionable. So the subconscious brain is being imprinted at that time from the ages of 0 to 7 by the environment, by the people that you're around, by what you're seeing, by what you're learning, by what you're hearing, okay, by what you're doing. Now, how old are we when we go to kindergarten, right? Or preschool? 4, 5. Think about that, how impressionable the brain is. In Finland, the kids don't start school till they're 7. No coincidence there with 7, the number 7, right? They don't start school till they're 7. And the year before they go into school, they go into like a kind of a nursery school type thing. But here's what they do in Finland. They watch the kids. The first couple of years that they're in school, the year before they get in school, the first year in school, all they do is expose them to all kinds of learning technologies, sensory toys, all kinds of things, art, math, and they watch the child and see what the child likes, what they adapt to, what excites them. See, which tells them how their brain is wired naturally, because not everybody learns the same way. And then they gear the schooling to what the child is passionate and good at. And, there's a limited amount of things they offer them, and that's how they manage the scope of diversity that could happen in that kind of environment. And that's how the children learn. So they're excited about what they're learning because they're learning something that they love. And everybody isn't learning in the same way. And so these kids grow up very comfortable with their strengths because they start the process off by developing what they're strong at, what they're good at, what they love and what they enjoy. It's fascinating. Hi, Cassidy. Good morning. Love was my number one, Carrie said. Anyway, we don't want to spoil it. Hang on, Carrie. We're going to pull up we're probably going to give us a little chat about what we're doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I am. And you're really on top of the chat today.
I am, because it scrolls away and then I can't see it.
Yeah.
And I get texts like, how come you didn't mention me?
Well, so Brenda, a while back, I don't know, we started talking about the VIA Institute and basically a platform that has done amazing questioning that really if you answer these questions without thinking about it, seeking help from somebody, and just kind of pop through them. Like what comes to us is usually the truth until we noodle with it and try to. So let's just say, I don't want to answer so the system thinks I'm a good person. I want to pass. There is no passing on this. There's just do the work, answer the questions, click next. Oh my gosh, there's like 10 more. And then I just went through it. I said, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to go through it until the end. And then I'm going to complete this. And guess what? That is not one of my strengths. I want to do it until I think I'm done. And then I want to go do something else. But I said, no, I'm committing to this. I'm finishing it. And I think I sent it out, and hopefully a few people did that that are with us today. Maybe they learned a few things, because I did. Again, anytime I do one of these assessments, strengths finders, character assets, what do we call them? Character traits and character defects. I certainly don't need to do one on that. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're going to talk about here. So, Brenda, I'm going to drop down to, that's just the first page of what comes back to you. It's several pages of character of strength. So, what's number one on mine?
Creativity. Shocking. Blindsided Productions.
Yeah.
Creativity.
And this isn't like I'm a visionary always or a pioneering solution guy. And that doesn't mean that isn't true in some aspects. Creativity is, how do I look at a problem? Working on something in the garage, and how can I, where blind people must be creative is because they don't have the eyesight. So they're not focused on the visual fixing of something. right? So they've got to look at this differently. How can I approach this and be creative about it? And I definitely never saw that. But my gosh, as I started noticing that I approach things different than most because I need to. I see through my hands. I see through my hearing. I see through the smell. I see through many senses outside of just the five. And my eyesight, I can't see what I'm doing at times, but I can because my hands on it. So I get creative because the goal is I want to fix, I want to move forward with something. Instead of throwing up my arms, which was my old me, I would fight against that and say, forget it. I can't do it. I don't know how, and I'm stupid.
Yeah. I want to say something about VIA. So you guys know that people that have been watching the podcast, a couple of years ago, I applied to the Spirituality, Mind and Body Institute at Columbia University, and I I got in. I don't know how, but I got in. And this summer intensive, we had to start this program off by doing a summer intensive. It's a week of really intense training. And one of the first things they introduced us to at that summer intensive was the VIA Institute. And they started talking to us about how your strengths are really what you should be paying attention to, not the X's on the paper, because your weaknesses are there for a reason and your strengths are there for a reason. You are a unique expression of God's source universe. You are built exactly the way you're supposed to be to integrate into this, world of 8 billion people, because everyone's not supposed to be the same. And so they had us take this assessment that that you're seeing Charlie's, and a number of you have taken it, and I took mine. And they give you all of your strengths, and then they give you some strengths that aren't as strong as the rest. They don't even call them weaknesses. And the theory, and it's proven theory now because they've had over 1 million people take this assessment. And so they have all kinds of studies now based on the VIA Institute's work, is that if you focus on your strengths, the things that you're less strong at will organically get better all by themselves. Right? It's a magic. You focus on what you're good at. What it does is it builds confidence, it builds self-esteem, it builds a sense of agency and autonomy. Now you're not afraid of the things that you're not as good at, and you just know that they're going to get better on their own. You don't have to focus on them, right? And so as your strengths get better, the things you're not so strong at get better, and it provides for a well-rounded human being. So Charlie's second highest strength is perspective. And there's no surprise there because you're a talented coach. Being able to provide wise counsel to others, having ways of looking at the world that makes sense to oneself and to others. And you're really good at that. You're really good at reframing things so that other people can understand what might otherwise be very complicated or convoluted to understand. Good job.
Good job. Hey, I didn't have to work on that one. It was a strength.
Your third highest strength was leadership. And in these strengths, the strengths fall into a category of kind of, your soul, your body, mind, soul, right? It's really your spirit, mind, body. And creativity falls under wisdom, and perspective also falls under wisdom, and leadership falls under justice. So there's different categories of strengths, and it's important to pay attention to those because it's the makeup of your DNA. So wisdom, justice, courage, transcendence. There's more courage there. Hang on one second. I want to give you some of the other ones. Let's see. Humanity. And that's all I have available to me. Oh, temperance. Temperance is a good one too. So there's these different categories. You can go out to the viainstitute.org and you can take the survey if you haven't taken it. And there's videos out there that you can listen to. Yep. And all kinds there's some free stuff. You can do more detailed surveys, paid surveys if you wanted to, but just to get a baseline of what your strengths are so you can start, appreciating yourself more, number one, knowing your value, number two, and then working on improving your strengths so that anything else that you want to improve on will get better organically.
And Brenda, when you work on a strength, it's not torture.
No,
For me, like working in an Excel document is so not fun.
yeah, I don't
But
like it either. I work with them
but,
a
it's,
lot.
but if I'm working on creativity or uh, passion, things that align with the list, especially the first 10 plus, I don't fight it. I kind of flow it through it and into it.
Yeah.
And then I move forward. I get, you know what I mean? Things happen. But gosh, I mean, all the years of focusing on what was impossible. So let me just say one weakness I have. I didn't say there wasn't more than one, but one is my eyesight. I'm legally blind. And you want to know something? For years, I worked on that. What did I do? I wanted it to not be legally blind. I wanted to be like sighted people. I wanted to be in a world that wasn't built for blind people. It was built for sighted people. I wanted me not to be the way I was. And you said, we are an exact expression of our creator, of source, whatever. We're exactly who we're supposed to be. And if we do this survey and come and start noticing these strengths, it can help move us away from focusing on what isn't working. And, I, like you always say, and I put it on the thumbnail, where our attention goes, our energy flows. And my attention was, how can I be a sighted person? And then my world would be acceptable.
Yeah. It's so funny, Charlie, because the law of the universe, karma, and these are ancient traditions and this is ancient knowledge. This isn't new stuff. You know,
Yeah.
it, it, it's Henry Ford, right? That says, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. Right. And so the law of the universe, what you put out is what you get back. If you're vibrating at a frequency that says, I'm not good, I'm not good, I'm not good, guess what? You're not going to be good. You're not going to be good. You're not good. The universe doesn't discern. Oh, but she really doesn't mean that. Right? It's all energy and vibration. If that's where you're vibrating, that's what you're going to draw into your life, and that's what you're going to reinforce. But if you can go above that frequency and say, you know what, that's not true, because I know I can change. So let me work on my strengths to pull that up. It's a whole different vibration. It's a high frequency vibration. Now you're going to start drawing into your life the tools that you need to be able to achieve that. Right? Because you're not functioning down here and, co-signing the narrative. Don't co-sign that critical narrative. It's someone else's voice anyway. It's not even your voice. It's your kindergarten teacher's voice, or your parents' voice, or the kid that was better than you at school's voice. It's not your voice. Your voice is like, yay, go for it. You can do it. I'm right here with you. Woohoo.
Yeah.
That's what we have in our community, Charlie, the 12-step community that we're in. And it's so important to have a community. It's so important to have a community and not be, sitting up here in your head by yourself all the time. So get an accountability buddy, do this together with somebody, work with somebody, and share your results with somebody. Make a
Yeah.
plan with an accountability buddy to pick one and play with it for a week. Oh, it says that I'm really creative. I'm going to try and create this week. It says that I'm a natural born leader. What can I do to be a leader? Let's see how it feels. Try it on for size. When I did mine, I was shocked. And I'm not saying this from an ego perspective. I was shocked at the things that it said I was strong at, because the narrative that I was telling myself was not what this assessment was, which was I was very honest in the assessment. It was not what the assessment said.
Yep. Yeah. No matter how you answer, if you answer honestly, it'll only help propel and move you forward, because it's the questions are amazing. And and if I answered as honest as I think it was, I mean, in this moment, in the day I did it. So Brenda, just go through the last couple, but you don't have to read anything. Just pop through, because those of us that can't see the screen, will you just read whatever you left off, the last couple, and then I want to quickly show something.
Yeah, honesty, humor, spirituality, love of learning, and bravery. Were the top 8 were creativity is one, perspective, leadership, honesty, humor, spirituality, love of learning, and bravery. And that describes, I've known Charlie for years, and that describes Charlie to a T. And there's many more than what you're seeing on the screen here. There's actually, they give you a list of 24 on your free survey, and you can go even deeper than that if you want to take a more detailed survey for money. But
And
it'll be this one for free because it's part of this study that they do. And mind you, this survey was developed by very famous PhD peer-reviewed scientists that know how to get the truth out of you, even if you try and lie. The questions are reworded throughout the survey in different ways. They'll ask the same
yes.
question in different ways. And then an algorithm can determine whether you're lying or telling the truth. And they build that into the results.
Oh, I saw that. I'm like, you already asked that question, you little sneak. You're asking it in a little different way. Kind of like the big book says the same thing over and over.
Over and over and over again.
Or
Yeah.
the Bible. I
Yeah.
mean, so let me just do this real quick.
You got
I'm
it.
going to skip over yours for a second.
Of course.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, let me scroll.
Okay.
We're scrolling away here.
Yeah, it's not going to work. I hope that you guys don't mind that I had a little something in there, a surprise, but surprise, it's not working. All right, let's head down to, let's talk about Brenda a little because I'm starting to get a little
Okay.
uncomfortable. No, I'm only kidding.
Not at all. I love this stuff. Yeah, so just like Carrie, and I think what I'd like to do after mine is talk to the a couple of people that have done it and see what theirs came out to in the chat here. Um, just like Carrie, my number 1 was love, and that falls under the humanity category. And so I value close relations with others, in particular those in which sharing and caring are reciprocated, being close to people. And that describes me to a T. I just love people. Before,
You do.
hi, Kaylee Collins. Good morning. Before Charlie, I got clean and sober. I used to say, I just don't like people. I just don't like people. I don't like them. And the truth was, I was afraid they weren't going to like me. That was the truth. The lie I told myself, the narrative was that I didn't like people. I love people. I can't get enough of them. Gratitude, forgiveness, zest, which is appreciating life with excitement and energy, not doing things halfway or half-heartedly, living life as an adventure, feeling alive and activated. I still jump out of a plane once a year with my family. I used to skydive. Love of learning, curiosity, kindness, and humor. Those were
To a T. You love to laugh. You love and just number 17 on my list was love.
Charlie. And that
When
doesn't
I
mean
read
you're not
yours,
strong
when
at
I
it.
read yours, I wasn't like, oh my God, she's so much better than me. I just said, oh, that is so awesome how that is so Brenda.
So the lower part of mine, the things that I'm not as strong at, which I was shocked at, self-regulation, perspective. What fell at judgment was at 18, and leadership was toward the bottom of mine. Leadership and teamwork, which I thought was interesting. You kind of went dark there, Charlie. You still with us?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I just can't see you, man.
Well, maybe you should clean your glasses. I don't know
So,
what happened.
so, my top ones are love, gratitude, forgiveness, zest, love of learning, curiosity, kindness, and humor. Those are the top 8. So let's see. Since Carrie, I know Carrie has done it. I wonder, Carrie, if you would be able to type in the chat
A couple.
a couple of your or anybody who has done it. Type in the chat maybe your top 2 strengths, and we will take a look at that for you. So hope, by the way, is a strength. That was number 11 on mine. And social intelligence was a strength, and that was high on mine too. Being aware of other people's world, just not seeing things as they relate to me, but just trying to see things. Was there anything on yours? Because I'm not seeing anything in the chat yet. Anything on yours, Charlie, that surprised you?
Yeah, but I don't like remember the word, but when I read through everything and I read through what the website and how they explained it better, and because I might see hope. I had that on my second page near the top, and I'm like, but I love how they give you a little, even for the free one, just a deeper understanding of why they're using that word as one of your strengths, not just zest. It's like, what does that mean? I mean, zest. I'm quick, and then it told us, and I thought, oh, yeah, I resonate with that. That works.
Yeah.
But no, I don't remember. I was so focused on the one page, because had to make it fit on the screen and hopefully not too blurry. Anyone typing in?
No.
Right.
So how many people did you send the survey to? A bunch, right?
400 and something.
Yeah, I don't see anything since
But
9.
I sent it late, Brenda.
Oh, that's okay.
That's on me.
So judgment kind of bothered me because I consider myself to have a strong sense of judgment. And judgment says thinking things through and examining them from all sides, not jumping to conclusions, able to change one's mind in light of evidence, and weighing all evidence fairly. And when I look at that and I think about it, because you have to look at these things with an open mind, very often my first impulse is based in my conditioned thinking and my trauma, right? So, how you've heard me share before that I swipe through my first 10 thoughts on anything before I actually entertain like an understanding of a circumstance. And I think that's what the judgment nailed in that. Like my initial response to something is to protect myself. You know what I mean? And that's because of the early childhood trauma. So I'm going to, I have a traumatized cat right now that a friend of mine rescued, and then we adopted it from him. And like her nervous system is just activated all the time, and she's protecting herself still. And I found that I still do that sometimes when I am triggered in some way. And when I'm in that mode, I'm not exercising very good judgment, right? I'm just trying to stay safe. When that amygdala, we've talked about the amygdala, and the amygdala gets hijacked like that. We're really not able to have our discernment tools are not being, your frontal lobe is not activated when you're sitting in your amygdala trying to protect yourself. So you don't have the rational brain working in your favor at that point. So you really have to just quiet yourself, ground yourself, and then get back into a place where you can have some discernment about what's going on. So, all right.
And Brenda, I think that would be, I want to explore that over a few weeks after, school and things, but soon in April. But is that activation, that nervous system, that how it actually hijacks us. And it could be from PTSD, it could be from a lot of things. But what happens, like you said, I see it happen with my dog. When in his back legs start to shake, he can't hear me. He can't do anything, but he is locked on. I mean, and I've got to pick him up, like get under him and snap him out of it because I'm going to lose my temper a little bit and yank, like, you better listen to me. I'm the man. But now I respect the fact that I know, because I know what happened when my nervous system took over.
Absolutely.
Of course, it's healthy to have that because we do need to fight, flight, or freeze. That needs to happen at times. That's why we have it. But unfortunately, life with untreated humanism will start to activate that. And you know what I mean? And you will start no longer looking at your strengths. I shouldn't say you. I'm sharing from experience.
Right.
I will no longer be able to look at, oh, wait, what? Let me try to be creative. Ba-boom, ba-boom. Let me go through these things. I think it's going to be, I'm going to print, well, not print it, but I'm going to make that list and just kind of review it in the morning and meditate. And then even just bring one of them in and contemplate and bring it into a meditation and allow that to just sink in. And, because like you said, I do not do my first 10 thoughts before I do something. I do half of the first when I'm already taking action.
Right? I know it takes effort to change that. So, okay, so Carrie's back. She was on the phone. So, and I knew Carrie had done it. And Carrie's top 5 were love, kindness, judgment. Ooh, judgment, good. Forgiveness and creativity. So, and what's really funny is because I just love Carrie. We're a lot alike. We connect on a very deep level. And when your mom passed, she started a YouTube channel. Oh, I'm going to start to cry. I'm sorry. And I go out there and I listen to her sing songs to your mother and to the family. And, that's her creativity and her love and kindness, strengths just shining through. It's so beautiful to hear her doing that, helping herself heal, bringing something together for the family to heal along with her, letting some of that grief energy rise out. It's such a beautiful thing. I just love Carrie to death. So, like, when you focus on the things that you're really strong at, do you see the effect that it has on the people around you? Like, it brings me right to my heart to witness that in another human being. So the other thing in learning about what your strengths are is, love being a top strength. That's a beautiful thing. Like, honor the gifts that you've been given by God's source universe and know your worth. Know your worth. You have something to offer in this world. And this is it's just validation of that. I think today, the way the world is, we can get so swept up in the chaos and the mayhem and the politics and the hate and the anger and the fear. We forget about what's real. And what's real is that you're an expression of God's source universe. And one small thing that you do, you can smile at somebody, you can make their day. We know this, Charlie. Being of service to another human being and using any one of those top strengths that you have could change somebody's day, could change somebody's life.
Yeah, and continue to move my consciousness, my connection, my that malady, that disconnection, that me on my own island is a rarity, but it still happens where I jump off, I get out of the boat and I get back in, into that ocean of opportunity, that blue sea of opportunity. I sometimes take my dinghy to the island and jump on it and say, no, this sucks. And that was going to be my video. I was going to show you a little bit of my talk. And I've been doing, Brenda, lately, blindness sucks. Is that true?
I've seen it, Charlie. I see it on LinkedIn. I've seen it. I've seen it on Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, I did one on there. I'm figuring that out. So but anyway, I'm doing it because we don't see with our eyes, we see with our brains, right? And where are my blind spots coming from? Not macular degeneration or Stargardt's disease, but the truth is that I have drusens on my fovea, which is the back part of the retina. And what do those little spots do? They give me blind spots.
Yeah.
Physical blind spots. So I don't see the camera or anything I'm looking at right now. I see my arms moving on the screen, but I move them quite a bit. But anyway, but that's not the messaging I'm doing out there, because we don't see with our eyes, we see with our brain. So what is the number one cause of blindness? If that's true, it's our thinking. So my blindsided productions, I want to go out and help people. First of all, bring attention to your blind spot and that focus on it, not make it better. Let's look at your strengths. Let's see through that blind spot. Let's move it out of the way. Sorry, my camera keeps overheating. So I look great with no camera.
No worries. I got the screen all to myself. I'm not. Woo!
Forget about it.
I got the spotlight. 1010 on the clock. Angel number.
I'm coming back. Don't worry.
It's also a friend of mine's birthday. 1010.
And it's my mother-in-law's birthday. She'd be 89.
Yes. Yes. So
89.
someone in the beginning, it's gone now, but said, "Aw, happy birthday." I didn't get to, I saw it, but I didn't shout it out. Sorry.
Well, what do you think? Bring this one to a close?
Yes. And maybe, I don't know, I'm at school all weekend. So I think we're going to record. I think we're recording this week. So we won't be live, but we'll probably be talking about this VIA stuff for a couple of weeks, these strengths and what they mean, and how they can really be of service to you to give you a more full life. Just being aware of how incredible you are. It's not a bad thing.
No.
Humility is not thinking too much of yourself. It's not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less.
And selfishness, I don't think much of myself, but it's all I think about.
Yeah, I'm not much, but I'm all I think about. Yes.
And remember, where our attention goes, the energy we have flows. If you tire a lot throughout the day, or you feel dragging, and then, of course, we do things to help pick us up. That is because we might be focusing on our weaknesses too much. We might be not aligned with flow, and we might be bringing in the crap that, that hefty bag of SH that we haven't taken a look at and put in the grinder to get rid of, and that's what coaching is. That's what we do. And we do it because I've been there. Brenda's been there, and we carried that hefty bag, and we added bags over the years, and it got so gosh darn heavy and tiring and exhausting that just letting go is the beginning. It's like just putting down the drink is just the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. Awareness is a wonderful thing. And I promise to bring each week something new from the company that I work for. This is a boot vase. Isn't that neat? And it comes with a whole collection. There's a chip and dip platter that's made. It's a hat, and the top of the hat is where the dip goes. Isn't that cool?
Really?
Yeah. I'll put it out here next week. Yeah, it's really cool. It's a big ceramic hat, and then there's a spot for dip in the middle of it, which is the top of the hat. It's awesome. It's called the Rosewood Collection on Amazon. Rosewood, certified international rosewood. Just text me if you're interested. You guys all know me.
And Brenda, thank you. This is great. And, I'm not embarrassed about my strengths. I'm not, when you compliment, and I love what you were saying about Carrie is my sister, my little baby sister.
Yes,
and
great.
I love what she's doing too, because it's also her way of healing and moving through the loss of my mother. And she does it in a way that actually helps all of us. It's not selfish based. It's pretty cool.
Yes.
And I get them through the text too, and which is awesome. And I know my dad loves them too. I mean, this is how this stuff is good stuff. And before my camera dies again, I'm going to advance us down to the end of this podcast.
Okay.
And we are going to come back next Saturday with a stream.
Yes.
It might not be live, but it'll stream.
Yes.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye. Have a good weekend, everybody.